Good morning, everyone. Today is unfortunately not Tuesday anymore because it's Wednesday morning, very early in the morning. But I haven't posted a testimony Tuesday for several weeks now. I've just been very, very busy and kind of taking a break for just a short period of time while I was taking care of some other things. But I wanted to go ahead and post a video, and this is going to be my actually testimony Tuesday for this week, even though today is Wednesday. And the title of this video is going to be A Mother's Dream. So I want to share with you an experience that I had a very long time ago when I was in college. And I was probably 20, something like that, 21. And I had a dream one night, and it was one of those really vivid dreams that you remember, and I still remember parts of it all these years later. And I had this dream that I was in a Russian-speaking country, and I was speaking through a translator to a group of Russian people. Well, you have to remember that when I had this dream, it was about probably 85. I don't think it was 1980. It may have been 1986, 85 or 86, which was like, at the height of the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. And it just was a very unusual time, in our country's history and in the relationship between the two nations and the two people groups. And so it was just really a very unique dream. So I'm not going to give you any details about the dream because there's some things that I'm going to kind of hold close to my heart. But I was speaking to Russian-speaking people, and I kind of held that dream in really, really close to my soul, to my spirit. And I thought, well, maybe if I study a language that will help me kind of like fulfill that dream, or how you kind of start doing things, trying to work out in your own mind, in your own natural mind, how something is going to come about. And that's kind of what I was doing. I'm young, and I'm trying to figure out, well, how could this ever happen? How would this work out? And so I was studying German because that was as close to Russian as I thought I was going to get. And so I decided to study German in college. Well, fast forward a couple of years, I met my husband, and we marry and end up moving to West Texas, and actually lived on the Rio Grande. Like, our house was really close to this little port of entry, about 1.5 miles from where we were living. So I wasn't exactly living in like a German-speaking community, or certainly not a Russian-speaking community. I was living and working in a predominantly Spanish-speaking community. And so it was just this huge contradiction. I was like, why did I study German? And why did I ever think that I would ever be connected to Russian-speaking people? And this is just kind of crazy. Here I am out in West Texas, and I am like immersed in Spanish culture, Spanish-speaking peoples, and a completely different culture. And so it was just this big contradiction. And I kind of took that dream, and I just kind of like set it on the shelf. I just was like, well, I don't understand how this is going to happen. Then life kind of picks up steam. I start having children, and got very focused on my children and my daughter's needs specifically regarding school. And I went back and I got my degree to teach blind and visually impaired children. And so I just kind of like total shift in plans, in life plans, where I thought I would maybe at some point be like in ministry or something in Europe, And instead, I end up just, becoming a teacher. And so now I'm going to fast forward way forward to today. And I realized that sometimes God gives us a promise, but he wraps it now in a mystery. You see, about 15 years ago, we had a wonderful privilege to host a blind Ukrainian exchange student. And she was of Russian descent. Her parents were of Russian descent. And she spoke Ukrainian and Russian. And she came into our lives. And it was one of the best years of my life. I so fell in love with this young lady. She was beautiful inside and out. Her spirit was beautiful. Her physical nature was beautiful. She had a kind and generous heart. And I just so fell in love with her. And I thought, well, the Lord didn't take me to, Russian-speaking people, but he brought a Russian-speaking person into my life, into my home and my family. And I thought, well, maybe that was the fulfillment of that dream. Well, we had a wonderful year, and she went home. And I kind of, once again took that dream and kind of like set it on a shelf. Well, fast forward about 15 more years. And last year, my daughter, who is blind, had graduated from a university with a degree in Russian. She had, through having our exchange student and some other friendships that she had developed and built, had just absolutely fallen in love with the Russian language, with Russian-speaking people, with their culture. She just has this heart, she just kind of fell in love with this people group. And I thought, wow, the Lord, I didn't learn Russian, but my daughter did, which was an amazing thing, because that was part of my dream, was learning this language. And, I thought, well, wow, maybe that was it. Well, fast forward to today. And today, my daughter is in Russia, and she is working over there with the foundation that she started to assist blind and visually impaired people in that region of the world, that Eurasian area. And the Lord has just blessed her with these connections with other blind and visually impaired people in these different regions in this area. And actually today, which is really early in the morning on Wednesday for me, I am going to be joining in with to do a presentation with my daughter through the internet, to talk about services for the blind and visually impaired and deafblind services that I provide in my job in Texas, in the U.S. And I'm going to be actually speaking to a group of Russian-speaking people through an interpreter. And I'm like, wow, I never thought that this is how this was going to work and play out. But it's a great example of how God can give you a dream. And he put a dream in my heart, my mother's heart, long before I was a mother, but he put a dream in there. But he ended up wrapping it in a mystery. And the mystery that he wrapped it in was in my daughter's blindness. And he took that entire situation where, there was a lot of confusion or grief or sadness about the blindness and the visual impairment. But he took all of that, and first he brings this beautiful blind Russian-speaking young lady from Ukraine into our family. And I truly think of her as one of my children, one of my daughters. I love, love, love her. And then he fast forwards and he carries that dream and he takes my daughter, who's blind, to Russia. And then he gives us a connection through blindness and visual impairment. And so I just want to encourage you today that maybe the Lord has given you a dream from the past and you've put it on a shelf because you tried, but you couldn't really figure out how to make a way to make it work. Sometimes he will wrap it in some mystery that you've wrestled with and you haven't quite understood, but he'll take that mystery and he will turn it into this beautiful fulfillment of a dream that he's given you. And it may take years in the making, and you may only see fragments of it, throughout time. But God is beyond time. He is the creator of time. And so it is nothing for him to see, 20 years, 30 years go past and fulfill dreams and words that he's given. So I just want to encourage you today. If you are living with dreams that the Lord has given you, but they've been, maybe you don't even know that they've been wrapped in mysteries, be encouraged because he is faithful to his word. He loves you and he has dreams for you that are beyond anything that you could have come up with on your own. Dreams that you couldn't, in your best and wildest imagination, couldn't have fulfilled. And he will take these mysteries of life and these challenges and struggles that we have in life, and he will turn them into a beautiful fulfillment of a dream that he has given you. So that's my testimony for this week. I'm calling it A Mother's Dream. I hope you are blessed and encouraged today. It's good to talk to you again. I'll see you next time. Bye.